Hello everyone, welcome back to my class. Today we're going to talk about pronunciation and intonation, 就是语音语调的问题啊。I have to admit in the beginning that I'm not an expert in linguistics. 我不是语言学上的专家。However, my MBA education tells me that we need to maximize the time and the effort you spend in everything. So I'm not going to give you a complete professional training in how you may improve your pronunciation and intonation. But I'm going to share with you what I have learned, and I believe those are very useful skills so that you can improve your pronunciation and intonation dramatically within a short period of time. Okay, so where do we start? A quiz. Do you recognize him? Yes, Bill Clinton, everybody knows. And how about this guy? Normally you do not recognize him because Japan switched their prime minister very often. So he was a former prime minister of Japan. We just used the pseudonym Jack. Jack was learning English very hard, as most Japanese and certainly Chinese students. One day, he was expected to receive Bill Clinton for a national visit. So Jack decided to, rehearse her English a little bit. When you greet people, you will say, how are you? I'm fine. Me too. Whatever. And so what happened that day? He raised his hand to Bill Clinton and says, "Who are you?" The who and how. Well, he misunderstood that part. So Clinton answered wisely. Certainly Clinton says he was thinking to himself, this guy must be very humorous. He definitely knows who I am. So he came up with a very humorous answer. And he said, I'm the husband of Hillary. And then Jack, according to his Jewish pattern, he said, me too. Well, this is what we call an international joke. We do not have any proven source, but it tells us something. The key point is that pronunciation is super important. I mean, especially for some special word. If you mispronounce a word, it may have totally another meaning. Yes? But, there's also, for this reason, there's many Chinese students when they are closely working in an international team. If they are working with Japanese and Korean, most of the Chinese will feel they are very comfortable when they are talking in English because their English will not be the worst. But for me, I have a new perspective to look at this issue again. I mean, for Japanese, English is much harder than English is to Chinese. So this is what I want to tell you. The Japanese guys, they only have this 50 very simple phonetics. Okay? They have 5 vowels over here. And then you have some 10 consonants, 5个元音和10个辅音. And then you have 50. And it pronounced very simple. Like I-U-L, kaki-kuiko, nani to that, whatever. But, starting from this point, and they are learning English, which got a lot of, vowels and consonants they don't even have. And not like most Chinese students. So in this sense, I would say that Japanese, when they are learning English, they must try harder. Or they must have a more pragmatic way. Okay? 要不然他们会非常努力，要不然要有更加实用的一些方法。 So this morning I was reading this piece of news and it shocked me a lot. 早上我看到一个很令人震惊的这样的一个消息，或者说它实际上是对于过去我们英语学习的一个反思。Some linguists they did this kind of research, and they say, well, in Japan, at the freshman year, the most students, especially in those top universities, and they will take a course which was called English for Academic Purposes, EAP. 就是他们在大一的时候，很多名校的这个学生，他们都会要去学习一门课叫，我们把它叫做这个学术英语，And basically the content will be how you write a short article, and you do a presentation in English, and how you can debate academically, those kind of things. And they were never taught in Chinese classes. And this is not a rare case. And they also found that in Europe, like in France, in Germany, and in Italy, like 83% of universities, they have this kind of a course which what we just talked about is EAP or ESP, English for Specific Purposes, which is targeted to non-English majors to train them with those practical English skills so they may speak academically and internationally. So I believe here we really got something to learn, and China needs to pick up with that. And then I would like to remind you guys that we really got a very good basis in terms of pronunciation. I mean, these are the Chinese pinyin over here, a lot of them. And we have a lot of vowels, especially those vowels. And but for a foreigner, if you simply think that if you learn all of this, you will have no difficulty in pronouncing Chinese, then he or she will be wrong. Because in Chinese pinyin, we got a very difficult part, which is called full tones, 四声，就是在我们的这个语言当中，因为有四声的这个存在，所以你会发现呢，这个问题就不再是这么简单的一个表了，因为对他们来讲，声调的变化意味着是一个新的一个发音的一个因素 ，It's a new phonetic. So, it will be like this way. Wow. It's quite complicated, So this reminds me, one of my best respected foreign teacher, Lin Kongjun, from Texas, United States. She was once my foreign teacher, and I clearly remember that the days when she was learning Chinese. One day, she came to class, and she was practicing her Chinese, fresh Chinese. I clearly remember she said that 我今天真的很高兴and then we wonder why. 我的中文今天有很大的进步and then we were, were listening and 四声昨天我跟我的老师在学妈妈妈妈妈妈妈妈妈妈妈妈 Okay, and well, we all have gone through that stage. And then he said, 今天早上我听到铃and 它听起来像哔哔哔哔哔哔哔哔we say, well, you are upgraded. 你已经升级了 Okay? So you see, those full tones are really difficult for foreigners to pick up. And I believe that for most Chinese learners, I mean, especially those who have very simple phonetics, or they don't even got full tones. I believe when they first see this picture, this will be something they will do.